Well, good morning. So let's go ahead and get started, get right into it. Again, my name is Robert Forty. I am the Assistant Director of Testing for San Antonio Independent School District. And today we're going to kind of talk to you about the spring testing for the state of Texas. All right, so let me get my little presentation going here. It won't take us very long. Feel free to ask any questions as they come up. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. It looks like my computer's running a little bit slow this morning, but that's okay because so is its owner, right? That's how I feel. We'll run a little slow. Okay, so as it was discussed, we're going to talk about how we're going to rock the STAAR, how we're going to better prepare. And I think the best way we can do that and understand how we're going to do well for the STAAR is first understand what the STAAR test means. So the STAAR test is the state's testing program. It's based on the state curriculum and standards and all the core subjects, including reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. In essence, this is the measurement we use to determine how well students are doing in school. It's not a measurement used to determine how well a student can do per se. It's just a measurement of where they're at a certain time, depending on their school year. I'm going to go ahead and let a video play. Actually, I need to do something real quick. I want to make sure that I have it set up in such a way that you can hear my video, and we will go. So let me know if you have any issues hearing the video.
What is STAAR and why do we have it? STAAR, or State of Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness, is a series of tests that help tell us how our children are doing in school. Just as your children may have a yearly checkup at the doctor to make sure they are healthy and growing, a STAAR test is like an annual checkup of how they are learning and growing at school. Starting in 3rd grade through the end of middle school, students across Texas take STAAR tests in math and reading at the end of each school year. Some years, they also take STAAR tests in writing, science, or social studies, depending on which grade they are in. When students get to high school, they take STAAR end-of-course tests in English, algebra, biology, and U.S. history to show they are ready for graduation. You might be wondering what students are tested on. Every question on a STAAR test is connected to the curriculum that teachers teach in the classroom. The curriculum reinforces the state standards through the TEKS. You may have heard of TEKS, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. TEKS let teachers know what should be taught in class. For example, in 3rd grade, students should be able to multiply numbers up to 10 times 10. Think of TEKS as little bits of knowledge that students are expected to know by the end of each grade. STAAR isn't the only way to evaluate student learning, and it isn't meant to tell the whole story, but it is an important measure to look at, along with report card grades, teacher reports, and classwork. When all of these are put together, we can see a more complete picture of your child's true academic progress in school. The Texas Education Agency knows that as a parent, you play a very important role in helping your children succeed academically. In order to help you do just that, we've made it easy to review your child's STAAR report card. It's designed to give you a deeper look into how your child is performing in different subject areas and where they might need extra support. To learn more about what's on your child's STAAR report card, go to texasassessment.gov and log in the purple box at the top of the page using your child's unique access code found on the front cover of their STAAR report card. Once you're logged in, you'll have access to even more information about how your child did on the STAAR test. You'll be able to view the real questions from the test, what progress was made from last year to this year, which skills need more practice, and even activities you can do at home to help them improve in the coming year. Although the STAAR report card doesn't tell the whole story, it is a valuable tool to have as a parent, because the more you know, the more you can help your child grow academically.
Okay, so one of the things that I picked up when I watched this video is that this is all information that's coming that is being provided to your student while they're at school. So that's one of the main ways we can help a student rock the STAAR test, is making sure they're on time to school, that they're prepared for, for to learn each day. And that the other thing is that we understand that this is just a measurement of what they're getting in terms of that year. It doesn't necessarily mean um, there's something amiss or something wrong if they happen to not do well one year to the next. It's just kind of a measurement of that particular school year. So if something's going on or something has changed with them at home or otherwise, that information might come out in that test to some degree, but it's not something that we need to worry about necessarily. It's something that at least should trigger conversations to better assist and help our students as they go through. Now, all students are taking the STAAR test, grades 3 through 12. So that is something that once they start the third grade on, they should be planning on testing just about every year. And then just a little bit more in-depth definition of what that STAAR test actually means. So I want to read the part here where it says the goal is to ensure that all students receive what they need to be academically successful. Meeting these individual student needs depends greatly on schools, parents, and community members working together. So again, it's just a measure of where they're at, what they might need, and how they're doing in terms of the content and curriculum at that time that they test. It doesn't necessarily tell us how they're going to do going forward from year to year to year, because those things can change and they can grow. When will we be testing? So we'll have tests. We'll start next week actually for grades 4, 7, and English 1. And then also English 2. So our first series of testing for the spring will start next week on April 6th and run all the way until May 4th. And then our next series of tests, or excuse me, that should be May 7th rather. And then our next series of tests will run from May 4th till June 4th. And then we will have high schools testing during that window, and then we'll have a third window where it's May 11th through June 11th for all grades 3 through 8. So the windows are 5 weeks long to help accommodate some spacing needs at the campuses, device needs, things of that nature. Now, other ways to help support your student and to better prepare are through these links that I've provided to you today. So hopefully you'll have access to these links, and I'll be able to provide some of these in the chat with you later on when I'm done with the presentation. But the Texas Assessment website, so this is put together by TEA, the Texas Assessment Agency, Educators Agency rather, and it has a wealth of information and knowledge and ways to help prepare your students. So you can see here, there's even a section here on how to prepare or help your prepare your child for the STAAR exams. And it gives parents a lot of different resources, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So let's go ahead and show a quick video of ways that you can help prepare.
As parents, we all want our children to be successful. That's why we created the STAAR Report Card. With this report, you're able to take a deeper look into how well your child did on the STAAR test and where he or she may need additional help. To learn more about what's on your child's STAAR Report Card, go to texasassessment.gov and log in the purple box at the top of the page using your child's unique access code found on the front cover of their STAAR Report Card. Once you're logged in, you'll have access to even more information about how your child did on the STAAR test. You'll be able to view the real questions from the test, what progress was made from last year to this year, which skills need more practice, and even activities you can do at home to help them improve in the coming year. As a refresher, here's a checklist of things that you can do to help your child do well in school this year and every year. Have regular meetings with your child's teacher. Go to parent-teacher conferences to talk about your child's skills and progress, and to learn about things that might interest your child and inspire learning outside of school. Sample questions you can ask during a parent-teacher conference are on the front cover of the STAAR Report Card. You can find more resources on the texasassessment.gov website. Review your child's homework daily and help your child work through hard problems. If you feel your child needs more help, send a note to your child's teachers to let them know the areas that need more practice. Support additional learning at home. You can access a variety of free and helpful resources on the texasassessment.gov website. There are many free tools that you can use to help your child learn even when they are not at school. Use the Find a Book tool available on the Lexile page of texasassessment.gov to create a reading list based on your child's Lexile and reading interests. Print and take that list to the library to find books and other reading materials to help your child build important literacy skills during the summer months. The more you take part in your child's education, the more you can help your child grow academically.
I'm sorry, Mr. Forty, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted it on this end, and so you don't get any background noise, and I forget all the time. So sorry about that. So you can see there's a lot of different tools and ways that a parent can assist to help kind of rock that star, so to speak. There's a parent checklist. You'll be able to download a copy of that. Some reminders and ways of connecting with the school, some sample questions and practice tests that you can take. There's an online tutorial, which I'll show you a little bit more. And then obviously there's some good practices that we should do, right? Eating breakfast in the morning, get a good night's sleep, at least 8 hours. And trying to find ways to keep our anxiety and stress down. So some breathing techniques. And I know some of the campuses are going to be working with your students when it comes to that time. Other ways that you can help support them is by looking at past years. So if they have tested before in the state of Texas, they have this STAAR report card that lists all of their scores. It helps us to figure out where they're at, provides extra questions for us, and shows us what questions they answered incorrectly and what was the correct response that it should be. So these are all really big tools. There's a lot of different things out there, a lot of different avenues to prepare for the test, but I find this to be the most solid one because it gives you real-time items to prepare with and practice with. And that's it. As long as we're going back and we're making connections at the school, we're reviewing questions from time to time, we're doing the practices where we can, and we're eating well and sleeping the night before the test, there's no reason why your child will not be able to rock the STAAR test. They'd more than likely do just fine on it. Most kids do. And then if you have any questions beyond this presentation, you feel free to reach out to me or my director, Mrs. Jamie Brown, at the number here on the screen provided. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Now, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for now. I want to go ahead and provide you all with a couple links in the chat. One is the first link is to the Texas Assessment webpage, and I can show you that here. So let me copy that first. So here is the webpage we saw in the videos. Here's where you could log in to find your students' past score results, and there's a video that shows you how to go through that process. If you don't have access to a previous year's student unique ID, you can always go to Find My Access Code. You'll need 3 pieces of information in order to find it. That'll be the student's first name, their social security number, and their date of birth. Once you've entered all that information, you select Go, and it will provide you with your student's STAAR report card and all that information that comes with that. Also on this website is the section here for families, excuse me. And this is where you can find things like how to prepare, all about the STAAR test, understanding scores, Lexile and quantile measures. These are items that you can use to help track your students' reading abilities and some practice measures. Now, if they've never tested with the STAAR test before, you'll want to contact the campus because they do have resources that will provide you the same information. But once they've tested, once you come into this area, it will show you how to track that score, where to find it, and then give you suggestions on what type of books that your child should be reading as they prepare. Another link that I'll provide you today is the link for this particular web-based browser. Let me copy it here, put it in the chat for you all. And what this site is basically a place where your child can practice the online test. So they can come in here under the practice section. It'll take them to the screen where they go to practice. You don't need a passcode or anything like that. You just select take the test, select the year you want to take. Now, keep in mind, you're going to see some years, like let's go to 2018. I can select a grade, select subject. Down here, when it comes to the test, P&P stands for personal needs preference. These are things that are approved at the campus level. So they're either provided or not provided, depending on where the student is at that time. And so very few students are eligible for some of these items. So for the most part, most students should just practice the test without these personal needs preferences. And then once you do, it takes you right into the test itself. There's no way to see how your student scores on this test. It's just a practice. It's a real test, release test from back in 2018, and our tests build on each other from year to year. So it's a good measure, good understanding of what's expected for the student and how to utilize the system. So there's all these tools in the system that students get to practice with when they're doing this practice exam. So you can see here, I have some guidelines I can use, sticky notes, pencils. I can change the color of the information that's here. Oh, that's my pencil. I can change how it looks in case I view the screen a little bit differently or better if I have different colors as the background. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, things of that nature. So all of these are features that students will have available to them. Any student will have. And then some students will have more items available to them depending on their circumstances. So I put that link in the chat for that. So you'll have that to use as another tool, a resource to help prepare to rock the STAAR. Questions?